On camera. Welcome and thank you guys so much for joining us today for another episode of Bold Voices. I am so excited to be here with my co-hosts. We have Raschell with us right now, but Misty should be joining us momentarily. But we are excited about having you join us today. We are talking about how finding your voice can magnify your message. So I am excited about this topic, and I think for many of us, we just kind of shy away from the things that really matter to us, or we feel like, we second guess ourselves. We just bury ourselves in limiting beliefs. So for me, I am so excited about this topic. And these guests that we have today definitely will be able to shed some great tips and insight about the topic. So before we get into everything, I want to introduce myself. I am LaChelle Adkins, also known as America's Supermom. I am a chaos crusher. I'm the mother of 15 children with 10 of them still at home. So I have to be figuring out how to navigate through chaos because it's crazy over here at this household. But I help you transform that chaos into something you can use, like clarity and confidence with a smile. So I'm excited to be here today. And Raschell, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Well, thank you, LaChelle. So my name is Raschell Harlingten. I am a transformational coach and founder of Roots for Success, where I really support people in understanding their roots, discover their blueprint, and really transform their lives. I'm also a podcast host of the Transformational Soul Talks, where I love to talk to so many different people worldwide, share their amazing stories, and really support humanity in making those shifts in their lives. So yeah.
I love that. And, I think it's important for us to highlight, how we use our businesses or skills to magnify our message. So you and I got connected through a live stream TV series. And so we started this platform, and now share what's going on with your podcast as a result of us collaborating.
Yeah, absolutely. So through us collaborating, I was approached by the same network, and they said, we'd love to share your podcast and stream it on some of the same streaming platforms. And I was really excited, a little bit kind of like, are you sure that's going to work? Let me see. Let me make sure that these videos are okay. Because when when you do audio, you don't really pay attention to where you're looking or what you're thinking. So I'm really excited. I believe the launch date is this month. It is April the 27th. Very excited for the TV premiere and all of the wonderful people that are going to be on it. So very excited.
Love that. And, I think that's good to think about, what you're already doing. A lot of people try to reinvent the wheel. They do all these different things to magnify their message. And I think that's where the overwhelm comes. It's like, oh my gosh, they tell me I need to post 70 times a day or whatever, on these different platforms. But if we really take the time to capture what we're already doing and find ways that we can repurpose it in a way that really helps us to move forward. So congratulations to you.
Thank
I think
you.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So excited for everybody to be joining us today. Again, I just want to give that plug that I love having everybody here joining us. I see we have Mary and Nicole that are watching, and I'm not the best multitasker, y'all. So keep the comments coming, and we will try to make sure we ask these questions as we can. So we are going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back with our guests. So stay tuned, everybody. Welcome to Real Life Without Excuses. I am America's Supermom.
Yeah, I love how we had our own fall festival. Whenever, that was just too funny. That was fun.
Recognize who you are, what you'd like to see in your life, and who you'd like to partner with.
I love that. And, that's coming from a place of power.
She makes. I have written with women who have been through things I could not even imagine. You can tell the old story. Don't dwell on the old story because most of your friends are not trauma counselors.
Well, we are so excited for you guys to be here today. Thank you so much. And that clip just seems to be getting longer and longer. We have more people that we're adding to our community and great things that everybody's doing. So excited for you guys to be here with us today. So with that being said, we still have our co-host who's not here, but that's okay. The story goes on, life goes on, things happen. So we just want to give Misty a shout out. We are so familiar with life giving us ups and downs, twists and turns. So we definitely want to acknowledge her. She is definitely one to be celebrated. It's because of her that Raschell and I are international best-selling authors as of a couple weeks ago. So really excited about that. So we are talking about, I think she might be just arriving. Yes, she's here.
There she
So,
is.
Hey, Misty, how are you?
Oh,
See the cameras doing things. You know what? Technology, y'all. Gotta love it, right? So she is gonna be working that out. Not sure what's going on, but you know what? Life goes on, y'all. Okay, she says she needs a moment. She's gonna join us momentarily. So I want to start out this whole conversation about finding your voice and magnifying your message with Shelly and Mark, because I met Shelly on a Zoom call and I was so impressed with what she does every day. So I think we'll pass it over to her to get the conversation started. So welcome, Shelly and Mark. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. It's, finding your voice, having that voice and amplifying it is really the basis of what we do. Just really being self-expressed, because isn't it true that we all just want to be heard? And in our work, Mark and I, it's our aim in life, our goal to help people have that voice so they feel heard.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Mark, I hadn't got a chance to meet you, but except for a few seconds before the show. And what are your thoughts about finding your voice?
Well, it's healthy. If without it, it's one of the big causes. One of the results of being traumatized is that you feel not seen and heard. And so when you hide, when you're not willing to step forward and speak up at the all hands meeting, or you're a solopreneur and you're hoping someone's going to actually hear what you're talking about, it's unhealthy. It's not good for you. Being able to speak about what it is you care about with authority, with caring. It's not so much about the knowledge, it's about how you feel when you're speaking about it and conveying that to other people. That allows that bold voice to actually reach people.
Love that. I'm over here taking notes already, y'all. I love a lot of these points about, it is unhealthy and the trauma and the hiding. And a lot of people go through that. And I'm excited about this panel because everybody here has platforms where they get in front of an audience, they share their ideas or have guests on related to certain topics. So I want to pose the question about, how did you overcome any fears about having your voice be heard? So we'll start with you, McCoy. What are your thoughts on that topic and how do you handle that?
I think that overcoming fears for me, it really came to a point where I realized that I was unfulfilled in what it was that I was doing. So I actually went to pharmacy school. I have my doctorate in pharmacy. And I remember just going through school, and I had peers that were in medical school and other doctorate programs, but there wasn't even a program for with a semester of even a nutritional program. So for me, I felt that nutrition, for example, we eat multiple times a day. Why are we not being fully educated to, the do's, the don'ts, what is actually healthy. Let's bust some myths, different things like that. And I felt like, you know, I could just go and follow the status quo. I could just go and follow the guidelines, go the traditional route. But for me, that was not fulfilling. So I really did take a pivot after I graduated and really just found a way to really promote things that I felt were more foundational. So even though I started with the example of nutrition, that really, was the stepping stone for me to branch out into wellness overall. So now what I do is I teach, based off of 8 dimensions of wellness, from financial wellness to intellectual wellness to physical wellness. But I really leveraged that to find my fulfillment, crossing over that fear of, this is, territory that has not been explored, but I'm going to do that because I felt like for me, impact was more important over, this is the way we've always done it, or, this is the current information that we have on certain subjects. For me, that wasn't good enough. So I really leveraged my self-worth, being fulfilled, generating impact, influence, independence. I really leveraged those things that I really felt were important to me through my self-discovery journey. And I leveraged that to really just, cross the fear and, just find my voice. And it's still a learning process. Every day I'm learning something new. Every day I'm bettering myself. Every day I'm influencing, impacting others. So it's not a journey that, once you cross a certain threshold, it's, you're in comfort. It's not like that, every day is something new. And I really appreciate this journey. I really appreciate me stepping into those fears, facing, the things that I had to face to get to where it is that I am today.
Love that.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dr. Newby. Over to you.
Oh, thank you. I was just soaking all of what you said in, and that is just incredible because it's actually my gangster soul tonic I prescribe along with my F list, which is, this is what makes your soul sparkle. And it's the courage, it's the care, it's the compassion, and it's having that curiosity to turn in. And, that is the most fundamental thing that I share and show other people, is how to know my worth and own my needs and stand in my power and actually I get to create the life I want to choose. I have that power. And it's from finding yourself, and it's applying the courage, the care, the compassion, the curiosity, as opposed to the critic head voice that's going, yeah, you're never going to do it. No. I call it critter chatter. And this is what I've shared for years through an experience, because of an experience of burnout where I didn't have a voice. I wasn't using my voice. I didn't even know who I was or what my needs were, but I had a part to play because I was not expressing them either. And that's where all my F listing and everything has come from, really, 12 years ago. And yes, I'm a scientist, I'm a doctor. I love what I do. I love people. But combining that holistic, truly whole person, heart-centered care from here, that's a gift that you give to somebody. Too bloody right. I'm not conventional in that way. Shit, sorry. But it's combining the two because you're dealing with human beings. And that's what I do. And that's why I was listening to what you were saying. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And well done for having that courage to go there and stand in that. And that's, I guess I'm on LinkedIn for that very same reason. I've pivoted. Love what I do. I love it. It's because I love what I do so much and how that I wanted to share this with more people and show others you can live the life you want, actually. Medically, physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. That is all combined. That's your whole self. And thank you, LaChelle, for inviting me on today. This is just gorgeous. It's what I love talking about. So thanks.
You are so welcome. And I'm loving what everybody is saying. And I'm over here taking notes really in between the pauses. So, Tashawn, we're over to you. What are your thoughts about this?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much for having me here. This is such a beautiful topic. And it's so important to me because I work with mompreneurs, and my mission is to help them regain control of their lives by innovating systems that are in alignment with their big vision. And I arrived to that reality because I use my voice just to express my and share my experiences. And I caught on to how people were attracted to that. Like, and I used to think that talking about my struggle and people who can resonate with that just pretty much want to see you fail and do bad. So I used to be that type of person to keep my next move to myself because I didn't want anyone to know. It's like, okay, they'll see me when I win. But reality is I learned that by sharing where I'm at in my journey, I'm not only helping people get there, but I'm also attracting the people who can help me get to that next level. Because if you don't share your struggle, then how is the person who's going to help you know to reach out and help pull you up? So that was big for me. And as far as like, I'm big on allowing my vibe to attract the right tribe. So if I'm sitting here being quiet, then the right people don't know where to find me, and I'll be all alone. And community has been a huge impact to my business so far. And it's just that I would have never found those people, and I would have never like been able to know how to help the mompreneurs that I'm so passionate about, because I started my business just in systems. Well, that's another thing with me starting my business, and I had to pivot so much because of me voicing my voicing what I was going through and sharing what I'm passionate about. Also hearing the feedback from other moms. They, yes, they appreciated the systems, but what really moved them was like how I empower them to live the life they desire, which is how I started going into empowerment coaching. Like before, I was just, okay, I'm a virtual assistant, I'm an online business manager, but no, your work is much bigger than that because you got the feedback and heard the voices of other people. So I love that we're doing this topic because I definitely think it's something that a lot of us struggle with. And that's one thing that helped me get over the fear, knowing that it was necessary and more bigger than me. Like knowing that people need to hear it, not just the people that I know, because I was very shy about speaking in public. I didn't want to like just go up there, but one day I just decided to do it and said, okay, I'm just going to start going live every week. And ever since I started, I never stopped. And it's because I attracted so many people who share that they needed it and appreciate it. So it encouraged me to want to do it more. So my thing was just starting, just doing it.
I love that. I was able to connect with a lady through Facebook. She did 1,000 songs in 1,000 days, and she actually created the music, did it live on Facebook for 1,000 days in a row. She's now a 4-time world record holder as a result of it. She is out of Dubai. And, you think about it, you just got to start and just keep going,
Yes.
whatever that looks like for you. If it's once a week, if it's every day, whatever. So I love that you share that. So, Matt, we're over to you. What are your thoughts?
First of all, thank you for having me here yet again. Soon you'll get fed up, I'm sure. But so far, we've managed to keep coming back. So I'm a little bit different. You know that. I usually come to things a little bit different angle. This one's mostly about my physical ability rather than different things. Most people here are quite able to talk and probably haven't experienced other than some minor illness about not being able to talk properly. One of the various things that I have wrong with me because of very bad type 1 diabetes is my throat is very bad. There's a lot of scarring on it from a lot of throwing up and damage over time from sickness. And for a while, I couldn't even really speak. It was like a whisper. It's not even that great now. Some days it's better, some days it's not so good. But for me, a voice is what you have inside of you, not just the voice that comes out of your mouth. I've always wanted to do the thing that I do. I've never pivoted from what I do, and I never will. I believe so strongly in what I do and the people that serves and the miracles that they are, that just the very fact of I can do what I can do is in servitude of other people. I like to talk. I'm sure most people in this room have already figured that out, even since before we started talking today. I love talking. It's a real blessing to me to be able to talk, because at one point I didn't think I would ever be able to again, not properly. But I've changed many things in my life that I wasn't able to do before. And in terms of what my voice enables me to do, part of it is to understand people without a voice. Part of it is to understand people with a voice. And that brings up most people, because there's not many people who haven't got not in between. So that fits me with most people. And that's what I do, is that I relate to people. I understand people because I've been through pretty much and hopefully not that. And I like to get alongside of people, talk to them about what's important to them relative to what I do. My voice is about other people's voices. My voice is about enabling other people to do their miracle. And that's what I bring. You're on mute. Happened to me when I couldn't speak.
I love that. I'm trying to be quiet because, you know, my kids are going to be getting out of school, so they may come in here like elephants, okay? But I'm going to turn it over to you, Misty.
Well, I'll thank you for letting me come in late, and I will do the best I can. I have an adult child who's fully disabled, and he is having a day. So if you hear some ruckus, he's fine, I promise. So I believe we're talking about where we're speaking, and now we can talk about what we're passionate about. I came in after the question, but I kind of know what the show was about. So I'm just going to give my answer, and if it's not appropriate, we'll just move past. So for me, with my mental health and the big changes I made in my life, I learned the easiest way for that to be something I could do in public or feel comfortable in public was just to be the example of the person who emoted properly, who emoted at the earliest sign of emotion rather than waiting till my pop blew. And so I use writing. I'm Misty from Campground TBD Publishing. And so I use writing to show people how to write through those scenarios or to those scenarios, whether it's setting goals or I've lost 130 pounds. I teach people about sobriety, but how to use writing to step into who that person is that they're working to become. And then once you bring those a little bit closer together. So I think that that's a lot of ways that you can show people proper ways to function in society, whatever the real life is, including situations like my son. Hopefully that I'm going to be an example that I'm showing up anyway, even though my current home life would love for me to take this show off right now. But it was important for me to be here. So I'm going to be the example and show up anyway. So I hope that answered the question, LaChelle, and thanks for letting me come in late.
Love that. Love that. Well, I mean, this is really so many great points that I'm finding, you know, about courage, you know, being the thread and you know, having the discipline and consistency and things like that, you know. So I think the next thing that I would be curious about is, you know, how do you really find your voice for being bigger than you? You know, because some people think, oh, you know, we were part of a book project and, you know, we sometimes feel like our story doesn't matter. And so we couldn't even begin to think that, you know, other people are going to buy the book, let alone read it or whatever. And for many of you, the things that you're doing, you're saying that it's bigger than you, but how did you cross that hurdle of finding that your message was bigger than you? So we'll go to you, Mark, you and Shelley on this.
Shelley, you want to start us off? So your voice matters. That's a mindset thing. Everyone's voice matters. I firmly believe that. I might not agree with you. I might not like what you have to say, but it is your right as a human being, you know, in this meat suit experience of whatever the heck this being alive thing is. It's your right to express yourself fully. I think a lot of the holdback that we've seen when we're coaching people is that they're not willing to step forward. They're scared. They think that nervousness that they feel in their gut means I'm not going to do it. And they turn away from those things consistently. So a big part of what we coach with is practicing getting uncomfortable, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, just like other folks have said today. You need to put those reps in order to have your voice actually come out of your mouth and change your mindset a little bit.
And I'll just tap onto that mindset thing, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if we're scared, if we don't feel like we have a voice, and we're trying to be heard and it's not happening, it's up to us to say, I got to do something different. That may be scary, as Mark said, that may be uncomfortable, but if you keep doing the same routine, you're not going to experience anything in life. And the unknown is scary for everybody, but the unknown is where the answers are. So you could even start your day with, what am I going to do that's scary today? How am I going to do something I've never done before? What if I asked that person this question? And those are little ways, you're in a meeting or you're in a room or webinar, and just raise your hand, even if you have nothing to say. Probably because you have nothing to say. And that's the little step you could do that's scary to cross that threshold and say, well, I raised my hand. I said, Raschell, I just loved what you had to say. Thank you for that. It's as simple as that. And everybody's smiling. And it starts to feel good. And we heard today a lot about feeling. Speaking is about feeling. How do I feel about what I'm saying? And when you feel good about it, that's absolutely all that matters.
Wow, I think that's really powerful, because our feelings do guide our emotions. And then we choose to make those decisions based on how we feel. That's very, very important. Over to you, Dr. Nupi.
Sorry.
You're on mute.
Thank you. I was saying, you probably could lip read me, so many juicy nuggets here. It's really, truly tapping in to your feelings and acknowledging them. Notice what's coming up. Name it. By naming it, you're taking some of its power away. And then it's having that curiosity and courage to go, really? What else could this be showing me? A lot of our instincts, we get triggered. And I remember sitting in meetings and just feeling, oh, I can't speak, I can't. And I'd get really nervous. And it's, you can't do it. So that fear, these emotions, these things can really stop you in your tracks. It's a feeling, it will pass. And it's also seeing fear, which is what the common drive is. And that's masking, what's it masking underneath it? But let's address what this fear is all about. Where's the evidence? Where is this proof that this means that I am this? And it's learning how to navigate those negative thoughts, that negative critter chatter. And it is the acronym I love for fear is false evidence appearing real. So flip it. Those are the first 3 F's I share on my F list. F off to the whirring cycles that keep you going, or, oh my God, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't, oh, F it off. That's a reminder to my needs matter. Am I in alignment? And how to actually keep yourself being able to access your true thinking, as opposed to fear-based and knee-jerking, is through your breath. That's the first thing I would teach. And then you can flip it, which is the notice, name, reframe. And that is key. And it all, know thyself. Take notice of what you're feeling, because it doesn't have to define you. That's the whole point. And we were talking, Mark mentioned earlier, it's mindset. And then that begs the question, well, how do I change my mindset? Everybody talks about mindset. What do I do? Breathe first. Notice it and breathe. And then you can respond. It's just...
That's a really important, because, sometimes when people are in that place of fear, they will just immediately respond instead of taking that breath at that moment and then responding. Wow.
Yes.
Over to you, Brittany.
Great nuggets. I would definitely love to add to the conversation and the question at hand. First of all, it's important to know that you are already whole. You are already enough. And if you don't know that, then maybe you haven't heard it enough. So one piece of advice is to get on YouTube and start playing affirmations, so that you just hear it and you hear it until you start to believe it. If that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Another thing, just, following along the fact that a lot of these people here are authors, you guys are authors as well in the audience. Start with journaling. How do I feel today? What do I want to accomplish today? I feel angry. What is coming up with that anger? Start writing these things down. That's how you start finding your voice. You are already an author. You already have the tools. You already have everything that you need. It's just a matter of making that happen. So get a journal. Start writing your affirmations. Start listening to affirmations. Start creating your own affirmations. Start diving into, one of my favorite words is self-discovery. Start figuring out who you are, what you want. There was a point in time where things were very, very numb for me. At some point I really closed my heart off just from, just traumatic events and just different things. And I really had to find myself again. And these tools were some of the things that I leveraged to do that, along with some of the other nuggets that, Dr. Nupi, Mark, and Shelley and others have already mentioned. But this is how you cross that line of fear. This is how you find your voice. And, it really starts with that self-discovery of figuring out who I am. What do I want? What do I like? What do I not like? How are the relationships in my life showing up? What are some patterns in my life that I want to change, that I want to make better? Really start writing those things down every day. Ask a different question and write it down. Before you know it, you might have a song, you might have a book, you might have a podcast. You will find a way to find your voice and to magnify that message in whatever avenue fits your needs or suits whatever it is that you're trying to do or accomplish.
Wow. I'm making notes here of all these amazing things. There's like mindset, emotions, self-discovery, affirmations. I mean, anybody who's listening, there's so many great little diamonds in the rough to definitely support yourself. Over to you, Tishan.
Yes, thank you. It's been so many great gems. I have 2 pages full already, so thank you so much for that. But I definitely want to add that I definitely journal a lot. So I look at fear as, I find gratitude in my fear. And I learned that through journaling, just writing everything down and seeing that, like going back to look at my notes and look at my prompts or whatever I wrote down and seeing that, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And knowing that I was scared. So it's like, yes, I get scared, when I'm doing stuff. I was scared before this show. I was nervous. And then when it hit play, soothed down. What I do is I use my fear as a form of foreplay because I know something amazing is about to happen. So it's like, I'm so excited. I get excited when I get scared. Sounds crazy, but that's just what I do because it's just, I want to get to that other side. That's more rewarding to me. Like that feeling, knowing that I accomplished that. I love that. So it's like when I get afraid, I know the reward is going to be so much bigger than that. And that's the most beautiful part. So yeah, my gem is use your fear as foreplay.
Wow. I'm still making notes. There's like so many good little things here. It's amazing. Over to you, Matt.
Thank you. Okay, so quite a lot of people have mentioned fear, and I don't really come from that place. I don't really get scared about talking. I don't get scared about interacting with people. I don't care whether I've got 2 people in front of me, 1 person in front of me, or 20 people or more. Doesn't make any difference. Still my voice, still my subject. It's still the thing that I want to talk about. Still the thing that I've turned up and the message that I've got in my heart. For a lot of people, things are useful as tools for talking. People have talked about writing things down, about you're an author, so learn to do things and build that up from just simple words into a song or into a book. Somebody else, I think it was Shelley, said about lifting your hand. I think some people smiled because they knew that I sometimes lift my hand when I want to talk because I'm a polite English schoolboy. Like, it's just this kind of thing that I do because it helps me to grab a little bit of attention. It's not that I'm a strange weirdo that needs the spotlight on me, but it also gives people a bit of confidence sometimes. When you think back to when you were in school, if you were confident, you'd be putting your hand up for the teacher going, I know this one, I know this one. Yeah, or at least I did. Well, if I was ever in school, I would have. But I think that it's important for people to realize that we all need tools to help us to do things. Tools aid us in whatever we do. And if we struggle with something, it's about finding the tool that suits our job, the tool that suits our hands, the tools that make us work properly, more efficiently, more effectively. I haven't got many tools. I've got my voice. So I use that. I start off by interacting with people through chatting with them in comments, sometimes badgering them a little bit. Some people I tend to tag them into posts and things so that then I know that they'll react, and then I interact with them and have a chat about what their view is. And every opportunity to speak is an opportunity to learn about yourself, not just your subject, and how you transpose that information into relative things to people and their experience, so that then you're relating to them, not just what you have to say. The message is not necessarily your words. The message is what that person needs to hear. And if you can identify what that message is, your message is a lot more effective. So that's what I think. Sorry.
Oh, okay, no, absolutely. I appreciate that. Over to you, Misty.
So far, the timing has been perfect. We just finished a very vocal moment. So I'm just like praying to the sound walls over here. So what I love about getting the voice out, and some of you have mentioned this, is whether you're authoring to published, we are all authors, we are all writers, we all have words, and our journals keep us accountable and honest. So when I write in my journal, I can go back and look at the last time I went through a breakup, or the last time I went through a financial struggle, or the last time, and see if my focus is the same. Because if it is, I might need to change my story just a little bit. So even if you're only writing for your own eyes, you will be held accountable and lift yourself up. And then through time with social media, we have such a beautiful way to tiptoe in. So like some of you have talked about, you can put just one little post on Facebook or LinkedIn that just says, have a nice day. Just one little lift to other people up. And then after you've done that, a couple of people are going to say thank you or good morning. And then that'll usually give the person the courage to maybe post a little quote and then a little live and then a little reel. So you can baby step into that. But even if you never showed people another word, you holding yourself accountable in your own journaling and your own writing just really brings you up as a human and it helps me serve so many more people because I can get really accountable just in one journal session and then get right through it to it and move past it if I need to, or get through it and go, oh, I need to spend a little time in here. So it wouldn't be appropriate for me to come to dinner at your home because I can see this as a chapter I need to spend a little time with because I have accountability in my journals. So I love that we've mentioned that. And then just as a publisher, I would say, even if you never publish, you will grow through your own writing. I grow every time I write. And like he said, when you speak, you grow. When I write, I grow every time. If I'll take the courage to go back and read what I wrote and just make sure that I was being honest with myself and that my focus is where I want. So that's what I have as my tidbit for moving forward and getting our voices out. I think, Miss LaChelle, did you want to add something or were you just nodding?
I was nodding. So I had given you a message in the chat. And I don't know if you saw it because I know you're on your phone, but if you could pose like a question or a writing prompt or something that we can kind of conclude with, or something that we could share with the guests, or, you know, we can just kind of add on to it. But
me, a writing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would love to. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I would love
that
to.
We could do, and you know, for as we're closing, because it's already 2:41, so time flies when you're having fun.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, thank you. So my favorite prompt, and it's an exercise that a lot of people won't do, and it sounds easy, but it's a big muscle move, is to write once upon a time in the very near future and write what you would do tomorrow if every imagined limitation had been removed from you. Whether it's your time, your money, your partner, your children, your neighbors, your cat, your dog, if those were exactly perfect, what would you do tomorrow specifically? What would that day look like? And that's a really interesting challenge for the mind to write past every imagined limitation. That's my favorite writing prompt. And if you want to follow me, I'm still on Facebook a little bit, but I have the quantum writing. If you ever want to come over, we always do little daily tidbits on how to kind of re-spark that little imagination into the future for bigger and better things. We have not because we ask not. So ask in your writing if you don't ask anywhere else.
I love that. So we're just going to go around with that prompt and everybody give us an answer for that, you know, because that's always good to bring that imagination back into, you know, who we are, especially when it comes to business. It's like, you know, everything's serious. My kids are here now. So it's like, mommy, you know, life, you know, you could be on camera and they're like, hey, I want my mom, or, you know, we're dealing with real life here. So, you know, the prompt was once upon a time in the near future, whatever. Okay. So we'll start with McCoy and then just work our way around. So over to you.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a challenge. But once upon a time in the near future, I'm chilling in the backyard with my son. He's playing in the clubhouse that we built together. As I'm looking at the garden that we planted our own cabbages and corn and all this other fruits and vegetables. And, you know, there's not a worry in the world because I have what I need right in front of me.
Love that. You know, so I'm going to challenge you to think about what is one thing that you could do today to make that story reality. Because a lot of us think, oh, if I had more money, if I had more time. But, you know, you can just get a little, what do you call it, little pot and start planting something, you know. So I just want to give you that challenge.
Well, we can start planting. Let's go buy some vegetable seeds.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, over to you, Dr. Noopy. Once upon a time in the near future.
Oh gosh. Okay. Once upon a time in the near future, so many more people are going to know how to find their fizz and flourish with Dr. Noopy's F list. There you go.
Love that.
It's happening. I'm writing. It's going. I'm actualizing my dreams and I'm fucking loving it. Sorry. Freaking
Love
loving it.
that. Love that. All right, Tashawn, we're over to you. Once upon a time in the near future.
Yes, I love this because once upon a time in the near future, I will be watching my daughter and her peers live a chaotic-free lifestyle going into their adulthood. And it's all because helping mompreneurs eliminate the chaos in their lives and not pass on that generational chaos to their kids. So that's my main vision, is to be able to see my daughter in a community that's not full of chaos and living the life they desire.
Love that. That's good stuff. Love that.
Thank
All
you.
right, Matt, over to you. Once upon a time in the near future.
Once upon a time in the near future, nobody dies and spills their innocent blood. People have enough to eat. They have enough to turn on their electricity. They have homes to live in. They have money in their pockets. And they have smiles on their faces, because it's no longer about fear and hate and all of the bad things in the world. It's about love and peace and joy.
Love that. That's good. Love that. I think we all can agree with that one. That's amazing. And, before we go to our last few guests, those that are watching, put in the comments, once upon a time in the near future for you, what does that look like? Just a quick story. I had someone who had this book that he had written, and he was just kind of stuck with the publishing. And he put it out there, and I was like, I have a publisher that I can connect you with. And someone who had just recently put her book out came on the call. So we can inspire each other and encourage each other with our shares. So I encourage you guys to put that in the comments. So we're over to you, Mark. Once upon a time in the near future.
Once upon a time in the near future, we're speaking to each other, with each other, communing with each other rather than talking at each other.
Love that. I thought you were going to say also not looking at our phones, right? Because, you'll be with somebody and not with somebody at the same time. That happens with my kids. We're right next to each other in the car or somewhere, and they're just glued to that phone. So I love that. That's good. All right, Shelly, over to you.
Once upon a time in the near future, the idea of fear and failure would actually be realized as fabulous. Just flip that narrative.
Love that. That's definitely, I love the reframing. That's amazing. Well,
Aaron, I was going to say, Aaron dropped something in the chat. He said, once upon a time in the near future, it's my birthday and the premiere of my show, Soul Man Live, with co-host Dr. Nupi Aurora.
That's right. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
There you go.
So I love that. So we definitely want to give him a shout out and tell him congrats and good luck. I plan to be watching and supporting. Amber says, once upon a time in the near future, I will flip the American healthcare system on its head and install universal healthcare to provide access to everyone. So that's amazing. So love those shares. That's amazing. And again, shout out to the people that have been with us the whole time watching. We have Melanie, Aaron, Mary, Amber, Johanna, Nicole, Susanna, Paul, Camille, and Jennifer. Thank you guys so much for joining the conversation. Also, I encourage you to follow the guests that are here on the panel. Continue to take this conversation off of the platform. We have many of you guys that have your own platform. So I want to go around to give you the opportunity to share how other people can follow you and get a hold of you, because you all have great things going on. So we'll start with Shelly and Mark. Please tell us where to find you, how we can support what you have going on.
Well, Remarkable Speaking is our website, remarkablespeaking.com. LinkedIn, love LinkedIn and the community, and that's how I met most of you here today. And YouTube. So it's all about, you talked about moving the conversation forward. Keep it going, keep talking. We're there to help move it forward.
Love that. And Mark, you have any final thoughts? Okay. Love it. All right, Dr. Noopy, how can we get a hold of you and what do you have going on?
Here and present. So you can get hold of me mainly on LinkedIn. I literally live on LinkedIn. There's also YouTube and Instagram, but I tend to flutter about on LinkedIn the most. And what I've got going on is my final thing: be you with bells on, because you deserve nothing less. And if you want to find out more, get in touch with me, DM me. I'm always glittering left, right, and center.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I've loved it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Tashawn, we're over to you. Where can we follow you and what do you have going on?
Yes, so I'm really focusing on growing my audience on LinkedIn in connections on LinkedIn right now. You can follow my personal page, Tyshawn Phillips, or my business page, Golden Admin. I'm also live streaming my show called Systems Over Chaos, where I teach you how to run your business a smart way. And that is across YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn every week. And I am also on Instagram, where I show most of my lifestyle with me and my daughter, the life of being a mompreneur, and also share tips about how to systemize your sanity as well across all platforms. And that is also Tyshawn Phillips, or my business page, Golden Admin.
Awesome. I don't know what Mary's talking about. She said she hears some turkey calls. She's been around Mike too much. Okay, Mike.
I'm muted, so it's not my house. I my animals are muted right now.
I don't hear anything. Okay, Matt.
Not me.
We're over to you, Matt.
I'd like to tell Mary I sound bad, but I don't sound like a turkey. So I am reachable only through LinkedIn, really. I have a YouTube channel that you can see some of my videos and things. The wonderful Dr. Noopy, as much as she'll plead ignorance to it, she comes along on a Monday evening to help me with one of my live events. And on a Thursday, well, I say evening, but it's evening in England. Thursday evening, I do a different live event. That is with a few wonderful guys from the US. That's more about business, whereas Monday is more about positivity and change and possibilities and things like that. What I actually do is a bit of a secret. I do not tell people out in the open what it is. I don't share that information. The only thing that I'll tell you is that in order to find out about possibly the biggest change that we have in existence that's possible for us all to live life as the miracles that we're supposed to be, get in touch with me, send me a DM, find somebody who knows me and they'll put you in touch with me, because anybody who knows me, they want you to speak to me, because what I offer is a way forwards, including some of those things that I mentioned before. It's very important to have a chat with me. Don't just ignore it. So that's how to reach me. Just search LinkedIn, Matt Allen, Kudos UK, or you can use the hashtag You Are the Miracle, because we are literally all the miracle.
Love that. Thank you so much for being here, Matt. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right. And McCoy, we are over to you.
Yes, just like most of the others, primarily I am on LinkedIn. Dr. Brittany McCoy is where you can find me. I too have a show, but I leverage LinkedIn audio events. I have one tomorrow talking about generating impact, so please definitely check that out. But yeah, LinkedIn, it also has my link tree where you can find just some other things that I am kind of doing, other projects, other websites and links and so forth. But yeah, pleasure. Thank you so much, you guys, for having me on today's call.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. This has definitely been a pleasure, and we appreciate you guys coming out. We encourage everybody to follow the guests, connect with them, DM them, do those things to keep this conversation going. So thank you guys so much for being here today. All right. Well, this has just been wonderful. I have enjoyed this conversation. I think an hour definitely is just not enough time to talk about some of those things. I mean, I have pages of notes over here, y'all. I love taking notes. And that is the fun thing about having conversation, because you get so much insight from other people's stories. So I guess I'm over to you guys. What's your answer to the question? We'll end with you, Misty, since it was your question. But Raschell, what is your answer? Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, I think to definitely, let me think for a second here. Put me on the spot. But once upon a time, there was in my life a place of happiness and joy and being able to give back to so many people that need a voice to share their message. So I'd like to see that in my life, that platform that is massive and worldwide, and to be able to talk on a TED Talk and share that. That's another big one of mine. That's once upon a time.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome. Well, mine, I think everybody kind of knows what mine might be. Once upon a time in the near future, I am getting ready to go on stage with Oprah Winfrey and Jimmy Fallon, and we are talking about mental wellness and having a great time sharing strategies and tips with the world on how they can continue to be proactive with their mental health. So I'm just getting goosebumps talking about that, but that's good. That's a good question. All right. So Misty, what's yours?
What about you?
So my big one is once upon a time in the very near future, my son and I have separate bedrooms and we're well rested each and every day and just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I do want to take this exercise one step further for the people who are watching at home, to take it one step further than once upon a time in the near future. Once that thing that magical moment has occurred, then what would I do? Once we're both sleeping all night, now what's my once upon a time? Because that problem has been associated. Once you have peace on earth, once the healthcare system is overturned, after your show with Jimmy and Oprah, then what will you do? So be ready already to receive that, so you know what you would do next. Thank you. This was a great show. Thank you for letting me have that question. That was a beautiful. You're the first woman who answered it. I got to go back through my notes, but she made me cry. Her answer was so beautiful. So
that is awesome.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that question.
Brittany. I think that was Brittany.
Yeah. Thank you for that question, because I think that's so important to reflect and ask ourselves those questions. So what's going on with you this week, Misty? What do you have going on?
I actually am intending to release my love story finally, the journaling into the future for the life you want. It's called Man in the Glass. It'll be the first of 3. And it's the one I've been hesitant because it is putting my story bigger and out there in a bigger way, in a more vulnerable way. And so it's my stretch. I love to support other authors, but it's a little bit new for me to support myself. So that'll be coming out sometime in the next probably 7 to 10 days. So.
Wow.
Awesome. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. Love that. All right. What about you, Raschell? What's new with you this week?
This week is actually all about Misty. Her beautiful podcast episode is airing tomorrow. So I'm very excited. Her sharing all about her life, her transformation, and everything she did. So yeah, very excited for that to come out.
Awesome. Well, this is just wonderful. I think for me, I'm like trying to get back adjusted to life after vacation. It's like it takes a week to get back onto the swing of things. So it's just day 2 already. No, but I do have a guest podcast that I'm going to be on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm excited about that. And I do have an audio room on LinkedIn on Thursdays at 9 a.m. So I'm so excited to be able to, again, have these conversations, learn so much from others, and meet other people. So, all right, guys. Well, we just, again, want to thank all of you for watching. Thank you so much for your engagement. And we challenge you to answer the question for yourself, or even think about your fears. And, taking it a step further, as Misty said, for me, I would just suggest make a post about it, right? Send some messages to people that are in your network and pose that question. Get on a Zoom call, have a conversation about it, because the more we talk about these things and normalize them, the smaller they become, but the bigger of an impact we have in the world. So thank you guys all for watching us today. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Bye, everybody.